Hello everyone, this is John from RPGs and More, and today we are going to take another look at the Eldritch role-playing system. We are going to continue the scenario that started in our last episode on Eldritch, where we had Wiglaf fought against a group of orcish bandits, a group of orcs and goblins, and defeated the orc that was leading the group, as well as the goblins, in order to rescue his friend Gerard, who was being held in a cage. Now, since that episode, obviously, Wiglaf has received a bit of a paint job, so you can now see what this rather handsome older dwarf looks like. All right, and then here is his friend Gerard. Very simple paint jobs. I'm not the best painter, but I enjoy it regardless. Anyway, so these... the other thing that I did is I took Wiglaf and I put him on an official character sheet. Aha! And I also made a character sheet for Gerard. One of the neat things about these character sheets is they have all the advantages, flaws, and feats that all the characters can take. They're all the stuff that's available in the game is all listed on the character sheet. So you just have to circle or underline the things that you're using instead of copying down a lot of information. Pretty neat. I think that works. All right. Let's get back into the game. Now, last we met, Wiglaf was in the process of searching the body of the orc that he had killed. Meanwhile, Gerard was venturing towards this hut here in order to search the hut to try to find something. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of basic search rolls. Now, if memory serves, this is how this works, and it's a pretty simple process. So we're going to take the competence die for each of our heroes and roll that against the challenge. Now, the challenge for finding something on say an orc is going to be pretty easy. It's going to be a D4 challenge. Whereas trying to find something in that hut is going to be a little more challenging. So that's going to be a D6. So we're going to roll the dice versus the various competences of our characters. So in Wiglaf's case, he has a competence of a D4 as well, because he's not really a thinker. He's a fighter. So we're going to roll him first. He rolled 1. Nope, sorry, that's a 3. He rolled a 3. And how well did the orc hide their valuables? That is a 1. So Wiglaf manages to gather up the orc's valuables. In this case, let's say that orc was carrying 1 gold coin. Cool. As well as 2 big axes. Now, these axes, they're big, but they are not dwarven made axes, and Wiglaf just kind of shakes his head and kicks them aside. He doesn't care. Not even worth scrapping. Yeah. All right, but he does find the gold piece, and he finds a key. Kind of cool. What's that key to? Not sure yet. We'll find out. All right. Gerard is going to attempt to search. Now, he has a D6 for his competence because he's human. He rolled a 1. How well did these goblins and orcs hide their valuables in the hut? Also a 1. We re-roll. Okay. So Gerard's going to roll again. A 1 again. Let's see. A 2. Wow. Okay. If I was playing any other game die, you would be completely fired. You probably are still going to be fired. Anyway, so Gerard is searching through this hut, and it's a big cluttered mess, and he's trying to find something valuable. He can't find anything valuable, so he just takes this kind of carving that is a bit of it's a rune stone marked with runes that are similar to markings that he saw on the bodies of the goblins that had captured him. And it's late at night, so that also kind of makes it harder for him too. kind of explains why he wasn't finding much. But he manages to locate this thing, and it seems right. And he kind of uses a little light source, a little light globe or something to light it up just enough so you can see what he's looking at. Puts it away. In that time, some monsters have been sneaking up in this area, and they're going to try to ambush our friends here. And so these monsters are slightly tougher than what we've seen before. So they're gonna be slightly tougher, but maybe not tougher than the orc was. So each one is going to be a d6 and a d4. All right. Now, they are attempting to sneak up upon our friends, so they're going to make their roll. How well do they do? That is a 1 and a 2, total of 3. As that's how well they do for sneaking up. Now, let's see. Does Wiglaf sense them coming? He only has a d4 in competence, and competence is what feeds into perception, which is what we're rolling here. But since he doesn't have any dice in perception, he only gets the competence roll. That's a 3. It matches what they got. But we're not done yet, because Gerard still gets to roll as well. 1. All right, so since Wiglaf matches, he gets to test again. Okay, he rolled a 1. And at this point, they can't fail. So the monsters are going to get the drop on our brave companions here at this moment while Gerard is distracted inside the hut. So kind of move him. I'm going to move him up into the hut area. Wiglaf is here. The monsters are going to jump into the clearing out from where they were hiding in the woods. You see this kind of big old scale-kin creature jumping out, waving his staff with a looks like a scaleskin skull on the top of it, waving that around, and he's joined by 2 warriors who jump onto the scene. Okay. Wiglaf and Gerard are both surprised, so they don't get to act this round. They're going to have to wait. Now that means that our companions here, our monsters here, are going to get to act. Now they are a D6 and a D4, so they are a bit more powerful than your average monster, because this is going to be like basically the leader of a small band as well as 2 elite warriors. And so he quickly assesses the situation. Gerard is still inside the hut, so he points at Wiglaf. And the monsters, the warriors, turn and instantly jump towards Wiglaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're able to do that because they have their movement is going to be D6 and D4. Okay, and they both have less than 5 to move, so they're there. Now they get to make their attacks against Wiglaf. Looking at a 3 and a 4, so that's 7. I'm going to assume that in this time, Wiglaf has had a chance to replenish his active defense pools. So he's still going to be at an active defense pool of... active defense pool of 14. He loses 7 right away. So that's half of it. Now the other one makes his thrust with his spear. That's a 1 and a 1. That's 2. So that's 7, 8, 9 is gone. So now he only has 5 of his active defense pools left. So we kind of imagine that these creatures run for and they stab. One stabs low, the other stabs high with the spear. Wiglaf turns around, grabs his shield very clumsily, not his best grab, but he grabs his shield, puts it up, puts it in front of one of the blows, pang, blocking it to the side, and then his axe, he just kind of whips his hand around, kind of flipping the axe back into his hand, and then brings the axe down on the other on the other spearhead, kind of knocking it aside. So just pang, pong, and blocks those 2 attacks so they don't actually hit him. But that's not it, because now that's not the only thing, because now the leader here is going to attempt a magical spell, and that magical spell is going to go directly to Viglas. So in this moment, he gets to roll his attack. Now, how that works is, if he was a player character, he'd be rolling his competence plus his expertise and combining those together. But because this is a monster, he's just gonna roll the standard two dice that every monster this monster gets, because almost everything goes off of whatever those 2 dice that a monster gets are for their special thing. So let's see. This is going to go against his active and passive pools, because it's a bolt spell. So it's just a bolt of energy that he fires from his hands. And that is 2 and 4. That is 6. Okay, so that's 1 more than what is in Viglas' current active defense pool, which means that he's got to try to soak it up on his armor. Now he's carrying his shield, and his shield has blocks 2 points right away. So I don't even have to roll his armor. I know that the shield's going to block it. So basically, we imagine that bolt comes in, and Viglas brings up his shield at the last moment. Boom! And it kind of knocks him back a step or 2, but it does block the bolt of power. So this is when it's now the next turn, and at this point we go to initiative order. And in initiative, the heroes almost always go before the monsters if the monsters aren't special NPCs. None of these are. They're all pretty basic. They're a little more powerful than the most basic creatures, but they're still fairly basic. So our heroes are going to go first. I'm going to say that Gerard is able to actually hear the sounds of combat outside, and he's going to use his movement to jump out of the hut, take a quick assessment. He's still going to have about half of his movement, which is going to be a lot. Let's see. That was, I want to say prowess and agility. No, that doesn't seem right. I don't remember. Movement's a lot, because each one of these characters had quite a bit of movement last time. So he's going to be able to close with the monster. 1, 2, 3. Only 3. All 3 is only all he moved, so even at half, he's good. He closes, and he brings up his greatsword. Actually, I'm going to say that he spends his action drawing his greatsword and closing with this person, just running up and shouting, "Roar!" trying to get this person's attention. "Roar!" Okay, all right, so that's his turn. Viglas, reassessing his grip on his weapons, is then going to try to eliminate one of these creatures right off the bat. So he's going to make an attack with his battle axe. And his battle axe gets, because he has prowess of D8 and melee of D6, he can roll a D8 and a D6, and he adds 1 to the total thanks to his threat. So prowess of D8 plus melee of D6, and then adds 1 to the total. Let's see what he gets. All right, that is 3. Oh, that's an 8 plus 3. And actually, I'm going to say that Viglas is actually putting a lot of his extra effort into this one. You know what? No, I didn't declare that before, so I can't declare it now. But basically, once per day, you can add a mastery die to an attack of some kind. And so that's once per day per level, I believe it is. And they're both level 1. So he would get to do it once. But I didn't declare it ahead of time, so I'm not going to add it in. That would be dishonest, even though I'm the one DMing myself. I'm going to try to keep myself honest. Ha! So that's an 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, that is going to be added, or put up against 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, actually, So that actually is enough to knock one of these warriors down, except for the fact that these warriors are wearing leather armor. So now he did 11 points. How much of that does the leather armor absorb? 6. Okay, so that brings us to 5. 5 was done. So this creature has taken 5 points of damage past their leather armor. They still have another 5. Okay. Yep, they still have another 5. But that's Wiglaf's round. That's all he can do. So now we go to the monsters. Let's start with these two spear carriers. The spear carriers are going to just jump forward again, trying to stabbing this dwarf with their spears. One of them is going to kind of scuttle to the side a little bit, trying to get a flanking bonus on him. I don't think flanking bonus is a thing here, but it's very cinematic. So they're kind of circling around, trying to jab from different sides. And let's see what they can do. 4 and a 1. So that's 5. Wiglaf is wearing chainmail armor, which is a D8. Plus, he has a +2 from his shield. Can he roll enough? 4, 5, 6. That blow is absorbed by the armor and by his shield, so just kind of... All right, but he's still standing. He's still standing. Other one comes in. Try to stab him in the back. Whoop. All right, we've got 2, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. Okay, now we're going to bring up the D8 for the armor. Chainmail armor is a 4, 5, 6. Wiglaf has taken 2 points of damage to his passive defense. His passive defense only has 16 points in it, which means that he's now down to 14 points of passive defense. I'm going to mark that. Well, we're going to mark that in our minds because I don't have a pencil handy. Oops, that's my bad. Anyway, that's their action. Meanwhile, this shaman creature, the spellcaster, is going to try to take out sees this human in front of him wielding this big sword and just and has his hand right in front. A ball of energy, imagine like a ball of fire basically, or pure energy just expands in his palm and he shoves it towards Gerard's chest, trying to get him. That is a 1 and a 1. Woo! Oh, that's 2. Gerard has an active defense pool of 14. So that goes down to 12 as he just kind of turns aside, and the bolt of energy that was going to fire from this ball in this guy's palm just out of the way. So that's the end of that creature's turn. Now we're going to go back to Gerard and Wiglaf. This is round 3 at this point. And Gerard is taking his big greatsword, and he's going to be like, down with dark magic! His voice is different this time. He's angry now. He's a barbarian. He's enraged. So, that enraging is going to allow Gerard. He's attacking heavily using his ferocity, which gives him +1 bonus. So he's going to roll a d6 for his prowess, a d8 for his melee, and then a +1 for his ferocity. So d6, d8, and then a +1. Let's see. Let's get these two out of here so there's no distractions. All right, that is a 3 and a 3, so that's 6, 7. He rolled a 7. This spellcaster is not wearing armor. So the spellcaster, well, is cloth armor a thing? Cloth armor, a hide armor. Yeah, it's not going to count. So the scale it gets hit by this sword for a total of 7 points of damage. Not enough to kill it in one round. Not enough. But that is certainly, it is hurting, and it is now down to, 3 health points left. Okay? But let's go to Wiglaf here. Wiglaf, he decides to move, trying to close with Gerard maybe, and maybe to give Gerard a little help and get out of the immediate way of this other Scalekin here. He moves around and makes an attack with his axe. Okay. The axe attack is going to be a D8 and a D6 plus 1. Sounds familiar. Okay. D8, D6 plus 1. We're looking at a 2 and a 1. Oh, dear. Okay. That one only had 5 left, but it has armor. So its armor of D6 is going to try to absorb this damage. 1. Okay. So it absorbs 1 point of damage, but still does 2, which means it's now down to 3 health. All right. And now this is when these creatures get to make their moves. They're turning in initiative. So let's go to the spear carriers. This spear carrier is going to try to prevent Wiglaf from getting to the shaman. What is protect the boss? Running. They're going to try to form a wall of spears to protect the boss from the dwarf. And a stab. Stabby. All right. First one. 6, 7. That's 7 versus Wiglaf's armor, D8. That's a 7 plus 2 from the shield. That one is blocked altogether, no problem. So the second one's going to stab with a spear. We're at a 2 plus a 4. 4, 5, 6. Okay, and Wiglaf's going to attempt to block with his armor and shield. And he rolled a 6, 7, 8 from the shield. So that he totally blocks both of these attacks. All right, he's trying to intimidate them a little bit. Maybe no die roll for that. It's just flavor. Meanwhile, the spellcaster is just like he sees his buddies there. He's going to attempt to disengage a little bit, move back, get away, and throw it under the spell. Another bolt spell, and launch it at Gerard. Slow this human down. 3, 4. All right. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Gerard still had, let's see, those 14 points of active defense. So 14 minus 7 is 7. So Gerard is still active here. He still has active defense left, but it's whittled down a little bit. And that's the end of round 3. So we go into round 4. And in this round, the heroes go first. Gerard, with his greatsword in hand, charges in an attempt to end this spellcaster rightly. So we got a D6 and a D8. That is an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The spellcaster has no armor, so that's just a mighty... Actually, it's 14. Just spin, slice, and the monster's head goes... Okay, that is one monster off the field. That's their leader. But now we have Wiglaf's attack. So Wiglaf is going to attempt to also deal with the creature in front of him that is not wanting to go down. That's 8, 9, and the creature's leather armor blocks 6 of that, so that's 3 damage. But 3 damage is actually it's 4 damage because I forgot to add the +1 for his threat. So that's enough. Another Scalekin bites the dust. Okay, at this point, on the turn of this last remaining Scalekin, it's going to attempt to rally itself. Will it rally or will it run away? Or will it basically, it's going to run away either way because it's just a question of is it running away in panic or running away under self-control? 1, 7, 8. I would say with that number, I'm not even going to roll versus anything. An 8's going to be a success. So this creature, he sees what's going on, and he just breaks it. Nah, I'll come back another time, you monsters. And he runs off. Da 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 da. Our heroes stand victorious upon the field of battle. Vigloff is a bit more hurt than he was before, but still, you know what? He's still got some toughness in him. And he just kind of leans on his axe, and they both take a breath. They both take a minute to just revitalize themselves, and they regain their active defense pools after about a minute of just rest and recuperation. Oh my god! Okay, all right, Gerard, let's get out of here. And Gerard kind of looks at him and just says, "You don't gotta ask me twice. Your voice changed again. I guess you're no longer enraged. No, I'm not feeling much better now. Just a little tired here. Let's head on back to the village." "Right, you got someone who wants to see you anyway." And they move off of the map, heading back towards their home base. To both, now in this case, I happen to know that they are returning back to their home base to rest fully, to allow Vigloff to recuperate the 2 points of damage that were done to his fortitude, and because Gerard has someone very special waiting for him at home that will want to know that he's okay. So that is the end of this little night encounter, this 2-part night encounter. The rescue of Gerard, the facing off against 2 different types of monsters. You know what? Do they find anything on the dead Scalekin bodies before they leave? Let's roll that real quick. So Gerard gets a D6. That's a 4. Vigloff gets a D4. That's a 1. All right. But the monsters, they're kind of like the orc. They're not really hiding stuff that well. So that's a 1. Okay. They actually do find some important things. One of the things that they find is a letter. And in this case, the letter is written in the Scalekin language, which Vigloff has seen before, Gerard has not. And the letter seems to stipulate that there is a price upon Gerard's head. And Vigloff is mentioned as his accomplice, and they are the slayers of the mountains. Mountain slayers. And obviously now they know there's a price upon their heads. Maybe they're going to have to move a little more carefully in the mountains and forests around their homes, because now they know that someone in the Scalekin area has a bounty upon their heads specifically. Dun, dun, dun! Anyway, thank you for joining me for this episode where we took another look at the Eldritch system and how a kind of magic tends to work, at least some of the magic. There's a lot more to be had and learned in this role-playing game. It's actually even a bit more complex than I've shown here. I'm still relearning a lot of what I used to know and learning for the first time how the magic system works. So there's do not think that this is a comprehensive look. This is just how the game plays, how it plays at the table. And it's fun. It's relatively fast. It has a couple of different mechanics, which are kind of neat. It allows you to combine a bunch of stuff, creating a sort of die pool system. I think this is probably going to be the last video I'm doing on this system specifically until, unless we find out that the Kickstarter has funded, in which case I'll do a congratulatory video and things like that, or something like that. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how this works. If you enjoyed this kind of format where I use miniatures instead of just talking to you with my face in the camera, please let me know. If you prefer me to talk to you face to face, give me that feedback as well, and I'll try to do that in future. Regardless, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.